And if that questioning gives us a good reason to poke around, say a cool abandoned coal mine, then we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Stella is becoming my favorite character ever. You enter the former town hall. What once must have been a stately foyer has since been converted into rows of shelves. Meeting rooms and offices long ago gave way to assorted reference collections and reading areas. Oh, hey, you made it. Okay, I'm choosing this option because I just find it funny. Shush, Stella, and point at all the books before heading over to her table. Glad you found the place. Hey, Barney, you look tired. Yeah, after the night I had, I should look pretty fucking tired. Oh, and there's Gretchen. Hi, dear Gretchen. My goodness, whatever happened to common decency? You can't go around telling someone they look tired, look unwell. You look marvelous, Barney. I'm gonna snitch on Miles. Oh, before I forget, I met your brother Miles. When I went to buy some chips, he tried to make me steal them. Barney, you can't just snitch on someone like that. I asked him to cover the store for one day, and he can't even be bothered to do that. Typical. I'm paying him, you know. It's no wonder he's chronically unemployed. Yeah, I get that. He's like, what, 16, 17 maybe? Anyways, I guess we should get started. Hey there, strangers. And literal stranger. I'm gonna introduce myself. Hi, I'm Barney, Tabitha's cousin. I'm in town for the funeral. Oh, I should have known you were a Scarlet. You look so much like Vivian. Not that I knew her very well. I was still a little kid when she left. But that Scarlet resemblance is, strong. What do they mean by that? Do I look like Tabitha? Does my character look like Tabitha? That's Gutierrez. Okay. I know names. I'm Oscar Gutierrez, chief librarian, and only librarian. Oscar's amazing. He practically built this library from scratch. Yeah, I mean, I'm a little jealous of what the kids around here get to grow up with. They don't know how good they have it. Back when I was in elementary school, all the library had was a couple of shelves of boring books donated by old people. Y'all are too kind, but speaking of kids, have either of you seen Rosalina around town? I don't want to be a helicopter dad, but she hasn't been answering my text, and I wanted to make sure she isn't getting into trouble out there. You know the crowd she hangs around with. They're good kids at heart. I'm sure they're just up at the old Maxwell place doing teen stuff. Is she friends with Miles? Is that the crowd she runs around with? Fuck, I just realized I said that about a black kid. That sounds so fucking racist. No, I'm talking about the fact that Kanika is saying that he's chronically unemployed because he doesn't do shit. It also sounds racist. And after playing Dispatch, all I can think of when I see teens now is the Peen Teens. The game has ruined my brain. I went up there plenty of times in my day, but I'm sure to keep my eyes peeled. What's the old Maxwell place? It's this great old abandoned spot and is practically a magnet for young people. Even honor students aren't free from its call. I can't believe I used to be so reckless. The floors were like Swiss cheese. I should really have a talk with Rosalina when she gets home. Street smart. Kids are smarter than you think. She can take care of herself. You might not want to let her run off like that anymore, though. It's not as safe as it usually is around here. Is that so? Kanika's right. There's some weird stuff going on out in the woods. That's actually why we came in today. Have you ever heard of creatures called ditchlings? They apparently show up around places on the brink of disaster, and they kind of look like the Pillsbury Doughboy was a creepypasta. Kanika's mom told us about them last night after seeing some footage we got in the woods. Ditchlings. Doesn't ring a bell. Dang, worth a shot. Okay. If you were, say, trying to predict a horrible disaster that might befall our town, where would you start looking? Well, they say history repeats itself, so I'd probably try and figure out what sort of disasters this region typically falls prey to. Should I be worried about something? I don't know yet. I'll be right back. Gonna go nab some more books. Behave while I'm gone, Gretchen. You don't have to worry about her, Stella. She's a good dog, aren't you, Gretchen? Here, have a biscuit, old gal. Well, ain't you the sweetest thing on two legs? Gretchen inhales the soft biscuit, drool leaking from her toothless mouth as she swallows it whole. That is just an adorable dog. I'm pretty sure Stella's barking up the wrong tree, Oscar. I don't think you have to worry about any horrible calamity befalling the town. But she's right about the weird stuff. There's definitely something unusual going on out in those woods. I'm gonna say whatever's out in the woods has been brutalizing the local wildlife. I'm gonna try calling Rosalina again. I'm sure she's fine, really. Rosalina's a smart kid. She knows better than to go around getting into trouble, and will make sure to keep our eyes peeled. Barney, if you see a 13-year-old girl with a black braid and glasses, would you let her know her dad is worried about her? Oscar anxiously wanders off, phone in hand. Got him. Just grabbed a whole mess of local history books. Stella sets a massive pile of books on the table and pulls up a chair. All right. This is going to be so much faster with the two of us here to help out. Got our snacks, got our books. Let's get this research party started. Reading awaits. Reading is for suckers. Let Kanika and Stella do the work for you. I'm going to flip through Appalachian folk monsters first. A few entries catch your eye. Wampus Cat, a large cat-like creature with a loud howling voice, often said to sound like a woman crying out in pain. Tommyknockers, like Stephen King. Tommyknockers, enigmatic cave-dwelling creatures primarily known for causing mischief. Talipo, a small creature with a long tail and wide yellow eyes. I want to read up on the Talipo first. There was a hunter who lived in a tiny hut in the middle of the woods all alone with his hunting dog. One night after a particular bad week of hunting, both their stomachs empty, the hunter spied something out of the corner of his eye. Some small creature had gotten into the cabin through a hole, and before he could even figure out what it was, he'd drawn his gun and fired at the thing, his hunger guiding his actions. But it was quick and ran back through a hidey hole and out of sight, leaving only its long black tail shot off by the hunter's rifle. Guess this'll have to do, he said to the dog and threw the tail into a pot to cook a soup. He and his dog ate well that night, the tail filling them both up. The hunter crawled into bed, satisfied, and his dog curled up at his feet. He woke up to the sound of long nails scrabbling across the wood. His dog was nowhere in sight, only a rumpled spot of covers where he'd been, and in the gloom he saw two big yellow eyes staring right at him. I want my Talipo, a high, hoarse voice cracked from the darkness. Go away, he screamed at the thing. But it stepped closer to him, still shrouded in darkness, the sound of long claws dragging across hard wood accompanying its movements. I want my Talipo. I know it's Talipo, but it just seems... It feels more natural to say Talipo than Talipo. The creature growls again. I'll get my dog after you, the hunter squeaked, his voice catching in his throat with fear, but there was no dog to be seen. I want my Talipo! Before the hunter could so much as scream, the creature leapt from the darkness, long claws stretched out towards the hunter. No one is sure what the creature did to him that night, but the next morning, all that remained of the hunter, his dog, and his cabinet was the chimney standing alone in the woods. Okay, well, holy shit, that was a story. Okay, let's do Wampus cat, a large cat-like creature with a loud howling voice, often said to sound like a woman crying in pain. Often linked to Cherokee legends, some cite the Wampus cat as originating with the story of a woman who sought vengeance against a monstrous cat demon for driving her husband mad. She hunted it down and by wearing a bobcat mask tricked it into using its own vile magic on itself, freeing the people of their reign from its evil. Others say the creature comes from the story of a woman who wore the pelt of a wild cat to witness forbidden hunting rites. The hunters of her village gathered to perform the rites, and she watched in secret from underneath the cat's pelt, but was soon discovered. For her indiscretion, she was fused with the pelt and transformed into a creature that was neither human nor cat, forced to wander the wilderness alone, feared by all. Her calls are those of great sadness and serve as a warning to anyone who dares go against tradition. Okay, Tommyknockers. Tommyknockers originate in Cornish mythology, spreading to the United States when Cornish immigrants began working in Appalachian mines. They're named for the knocking that can be heard from seemingly within the walls before a cave-in. According to some, the knocking serves as a benevolent warning. Others believe that the creatures take stolen hammers to the supports of mines and collapse them on whoever is unfortunate enough to still be inside. They are traditionally thought to be impish, leprechaun-like beings, but some claim they are spirits of dead miners forever cursed to haunt their final resting place. And you're done here. Alright, so we had the story of the Tommyknockers, and Sylvie stated that the ditchlings would appear before a mine collapse. So we have the Tommyknockers, which mentioned mine collapse. So I'm gonna flip through the Veins of Scarlet, a history of the Scarlet Hollow coal mines. Forced into retirement at age 50 due to a war injury from his time in the Indian Wars, exacerbated by his short stint serving as a captain in the Confederacy, Silas Scarlet. Oh no, my character's descended from a Confederate captain. That's great. Silas Scarlet also lost his eldest two sons to that bloodiest of wars, leaving his third eldest son, Andrew Jackson Scarlet, to take charge of the mine. We're just Confederacy and Andrew Jackson. Whoo! We are family's going 2 for 2 on not having the best reputation in the South. Under his leadership, the mine prospered undoubtedly in part due to its growth of the railroad industry. Managed to evade the coal union for decades, making them one of the most profitable mines in the country. Andrew Scarlet built the surrounding town into what it is today, with expensive stone buildings and bustling Main Street, and overseeing it all the elegant Scarlet Estate that was until 1895 the largest and finest feat of architecture in the region. Culminating in the tragic collapse in 1918, it was found that Charles Shaw, the co-manager of the mine, had loosened security measures to increase production during World War I, resulting in a fatal collapse and the deaths of over 160 men and boys, some as young as 10. The casualties included Andrew Jackson Scarlet's son, Theodore, his brother Enoch V. Scarlet, who had taken over for their aging father during the bustle of war, managed to pull the mine from the brink of ruin, thereby saving the town. So this is how your family made its fortune. Oh boy, that is so much. Not only is my great grandfather a captain in the Confederacy, we also avoided unions, and we also had children in mines as young as 10. We should not have a great reputation in this town. We should not. Flip through Silas Scarlet, soldier, woodsman, leader. Silas Everett Scarlet was born to Colonel Everett J. Scarlet in 1818, one of 12 siblings. He grew up in eastern North Carolina during a tumultuous time in the state's history, and not much is known about his life before he joined the army in 1836. He quickly rose to the ranks in due part to his father's connections, but also due to a particularly ruthlessness for which he received the nickname Bloody Silas Scarlet. Oh boy. Hopefully the next page doesn't say anything that makes me hate my family even more. The federal government granted the now Captain Silas a tract of bounty land in exchange for his service in the Indian War, and he settled into the hills of North Carolina in 1841. The land would become Scarlet Hollow. Alright, so far, so good. Fought in the Indian Wars, that's not great. But it started as a simple log cabin built by Silas's own two hands, occupied by his family of 10. Silas, his wife, Mary Joseph Scarlet, and their 8 children. Logging business brought many workers and fellow landowners to the hills, but it wasn't until Silas discovered rich seams of coal running underneath the entire region that Scarlet Hollow was really put on the map. He saved what he could and bought the surrounding hillside at a great discount, cleverly hiding what he knew about the land's true value. Thus, he had all the resources to found Scarlet Hollow's now famous coal mine. You're finished with this one. Oh man, my family kind of sucks. I think I'm done. Let's check in. Alright, if we're going with what Kanika's mom told us last night, I think we can rule out any natural disasters as what brought the ditchlings here. But not nuclear incidents. Looks like our state has a history with those. What about y'all? Find anything? Ooh, before you can respond, a handsome black cat leaps on the table, almost an instinct. Stella slams her book shut. Ah, hey, Pixel. You might want to close your book. She loves to rip up the paper he loves to rip up any paper he can find. Pixel, my dear friend, it's been too long. How have you been? Hungry? Did Stella bring the good stuff? Haha, don't worry, little guy. I didn't forget your treats. Yeah, snack time. Crunch, crunch. Sorry if Pixel's bothering y'all. Hopefully he hasn't gobbled up any of our books. He can't stand the thought that people might pay attention to anything that isn't him. Hey Pixel, what do you think about the monsters we saw in the woods? I'm an indoor cat. I don't know nothing about no woods. I just hang out in the library, especially now that our house got haunted. Pixel says your house is haunted. Haunted? Wait, Pixel said? So it is true then. Yes, at least I think it is. There isn't any other explanation. Barney is either psychic or he can talk to animals. It's a long story. I can talk to animals. I took the Speak with Animals skill. It was so fun. It was the best trait ever. Anybody who plays this game, I highly recommend the Speak with Animals or Talk to Animals, whatever it's called. That and Street Smart has been like giving me so much more information that I wanted to have, and I love it. No comment. We've been living in the library for a little bit. It's been great. Way more snacks. Way more scratches. Except sometimes there's too much scritches. Hold up, what kind of haunting are you talking about here? Unexplained noises, objects appearing in strange and unfamiliar places? Oscar, don't get her hopes up like that. Nothing like that, sorry. The floor in Rosalina's bedroom just keeps seeping blood. And I've seen a strange figure in the hallway a couple of times. Wait, you've seen a full body apparition? Can I see it? Stella, how many times have you gone on ghost hunts and then been tricked by shadows? You know what it's going to be. But what if it's an actual ghost? It's worth looking into. Y'all are more than welcome to check it out. Maybe tomorrow night. Yes, we'll be there. Yeah, that sounds like a fun way to spend an evening. Can't wait to get spooked by some creepy floorboards. Why do you let a paper shredder freely wander a library? Why don't you mind your own business? Have you seen this little guy's face? How could I say no to that? Leave Pixel be. You decide to leave Pixel be. Pixel is not happy with me at this point in time. And I don't know what's going on with Gretchen. I don't know if she's upset with me. The cat curls up on the table, fast asleep. Alright, I'd better get back to the shelving. Let me know if y'all need anything. Any luck with Rosalina? Haha, not yet. I knew a teen would be a handful, but I didn't think it'd happen overnight. I'll probably head out once you're all done and check in on her usual haunts. Stella, what was that you were saying about nuclear incidents? You guys were talking about the Goldsboro thing, right? Aha, yeah. Apparently in the 60s, a B-52 carrying a live warhead broke up mid-air and dropped a couple of bombs. Fascinating bit of history there. The first of the 2 bombs landed upright after its parachute got caught in a tree. Thankfully, it didn't go off. At the time, the government claimed that the bomb was unarmed, but it later came out that the only thing preventing a detonation was a single electrical switch which failed to trigger on the descent. And 60 years later, the second bomb still hasn't been recovered. Okay, if that isn't Chekhov's gun right there, I don't know what is. If any of you guys don't know what Chekhov's gun is, Google it. Right, it's conventional explosive disintegrated in midair, but most of the nuclear material was made unrecoverable by flooding. If I remember correctly, they just buried it and sealed it up. I'm sorry, did they say they buried it? Do y'all need something dug up? Because if so, I'm your gal. If the bomb is somewhere else, why would there be so many ditchlings here? We shouldn't be looking too hard at the disaster angle anyways. Whatever those creatures are, they're biological. Look, you never know with radiation. We actually know quite a bit. It just melts you. It doesn't make monsters, and a 60-year-old bomb isn't going to explode on its own hundreds of miles away and kill us here. You never know. There could always be a whole underground society of bomb-worshipping mutants just waiting to blow it up. That is a reference to Fallout. It's gotta be. I've missed this. I'm going to talk about Appalachian folk monsters. So, Appalachian folk monsters. Do you think the ditchlings are Tommyknockers? Good thought, but Tommyknockers live in mines. That's like their whole thing. I'm going to write it down though. Tommyknockers are literally the sounds that happen when a bunch of rocks and wood are about to collapse. Are they? Or are they the sound of mysterious creatures pounding on the rocks and support beams with hammers to cause a collapse? There's simply no way to know. My mom used to tell me about the Talipo story. I'd totally forgotten about it. My mom used to tell me about the Talipo story back when I was little. I can't believe I forgot that one. It scared me so bad I didn't eat soup for years. I thought a monster might try and dig it up out of my stomach if I did. Haha, I love that one. There's this old chimney in the woods that I used to think was the chimney from Talipo, the one that was left after the thing did whatever it did. Now I know that it's just because chimneys don't burn down and wooden houses do. That doesn't mean that it's not the chimney from Talipo. I've camped out there a couple times and seen some pretty spooky stuff. Yeah, I watched that video. You saw raccoons. You're gonna get rabies one of these days, chasing after wildlife like that. What can I say? I like to live on the edge. Wampus cats kind of sound like they could be mountain lions. Wampus cats kind of sound like they could be mountain lions. Voice like a woman crying out. Somewhere deep between person-sized and cat-sized. Definitely, they are 100% mountain lions. Kanika, you know there are no mountain lions up here. I encountered one. I thought you were supposed to be a skeptic. Oh, Stella, one of these days, you'll trust us. But the myths are old, right? Mountain lions didn't go extinct in the Appalachians that long ago. Those legends just haven't died out yet. Almost every cryptid can be tracked down to either a hoax or someone getting confused about a perfectly normal animal, sometimes both. Bigfoot, for instance, started as a prank. Then folks saw bears walking around on their hind legs and got freaked out, and now here we are. You'll eat those words when I get the first clear footage of Bigfoot. If you manage that, I will print out a piece of paper that says Bigfoot isn't real and literally eat it, I promise. I'm holding you to it. Stella, I was literally attacked by a mountain lion yesterday. Holy shit, you were. So you say, but for all we know, you were attacked by a ditchling which you mistook for a mountain lion. Stella, you are really saying that my mom's magical grub monsters are real and cougars aren't? Sure, we have video evidence of your mom's magical grub monsters. Unluckily for you, I filmed it attacking me. Show the girls your recording from yesterday. You take out your phone and show Stella and Kanika your extremely shaky footage of yesterday's mountain lion encounter. That is definitely a mountain lion. Yeah, I guess. And it looks like it got all ditchlinged in the face. Well, why were you filming? To leave a record of my untimely demise for whoever found me. Fair enough. So I guess that solves the mystery of the Appalachian mountain lion, huh, Stella? I just got an achievement. Get Stella to believe in mountain lions. Okay, fine. I yield. Let's move on before I lose what's left of my pride. I guess that's the best we'll be able to do for her. Let's move on. Talk about veins of Scarlet. Kanika visibly shudders. I get cold sweats just thinking about being in a place like that. I feel for the guys who work up there. I could never. Speak for yourself. I love a good crevice. That's what he said, ? A union-busting mine collapse from poor working condition. Color me shocked. Yeah, it's pretty awful. That's what the old sculpture out front is for, commemorating all the men and children who died that day. Every kid in Scarlet Hollow learns about the collapse of 1918. Our teachers love to emphasize how many children they had working down there, probably to try and show us how good we have it or whatever. Low bar, if you ask me. You know, that could be what the ditchlings are warning us about. Another collapse? Writing it down on the list of potential disasters. Yeesh, Stella, that's morbid. And besides, it was all Charles Shaw's fault. The labor market is way more strict now. There's no way you could get away with the kinds of safety cutbacks he pulled. Y'all don't actually think the mine is about to collapse, right? No, I don't think so. Phew, had me worried there for a second. I hate to give Tabitha any credit, but the mine is safer now than it was back then. Still, what a horrible thought. You guys really seem to have a bone to pick with Charles Shaw. That's what happens when somebody directly causes a monumental disaster, especially in a small town like this. People tend to spit when they hear your name. He got run out of town on a rail, you know. And that's not a figure of speech. Back then, they actually tied you to a rail and ran you out of town. That's a big mural. There's a big mural of it over on the far wall. He got off easy, if you ask me. Okay, what happened after the mine collapse? There was a union for a little bit, but it didn't last. There's not a whole lot written about the past century here. Yeah, the Scarlet Hollow mine isn't exactly the most ethically run business. I'm sure Tabby runs the mines better than Charles Shaw did. Still hasn't let the union in, though. There's a reason she and I don't talk. I'm not sure about the collapse angle, but the mines seem important. The whole town is built around them. Yeah, that's fair. They're bound to be relevant in some way. Hard to argue against that, but that doesn't really give us much to go on. And just because something seems obvious, it doesn't necessarily mean it's right or relevant. Talk about Silas Scarlet. Rich guy in the South, I should have known it wouldn't be pretty. Yeesh, I figured old money from the South wouldn't be great, but he, sure did some things to get where he was, huh? That book is a perfect example of why you should use multiple sources for your research instead of trusting the first thing you read on a subject. Yep, dude was a monster. The mines made a lot of money during the Civil War, too, and you probably guess which side a North Carolinian business owner would be working for. Sure, you're related to him. You're related to him. So, one thing that you may not know is that one way that Confederate officers basically tried to use propaganda to show that they were the real, true Americans was they would say that, their great-great-grandmother was a Cherokee princess, which is complete and utter BS because, one, the Cherokee people did not have princesses. And 2, it's always the mother, never the father, because it was seen as being more like you didn't lose any social status for the woman to be Native American and not white. But if the man was a non-white, that was the problem. Like, that's the thing in my family. On my dad's side of the family, we think there's a little bit of Cherokee, and I'm like, ooh, we originate from North Carolina. We were probably a part of the Confederacy in that side of the family, which is not great. This town is stuck in the past and built on atrocities. It's already practically collapsing onto itself. No offense. This town is stuck in the past and built on atrocities. It's already collapsing onto itself. No offense, but maybe that's why the ditchlings are here. No, none taken. Why would the ditchlings be here now, though? Scarlet Hall has been like this for as long as I can remember. Do you think Wayne factors into any of this? That creep who keeps coming around my mom's tea room? He snuck up on us last night and called out Barney by name. Yeah, that's definitely something. Yeah, there's something definitely wrong with him. Maybe he's sick. Maybe that has something to do with what you saw in the woods. I don't know. I'd buy it. Do you think there's a cult here? You lean in quietly and whisper to Stella and Kanika. Do you guys think that there's like a cult here? So I'm going to say a lot of people here feel tense and closed off. A whole lot of folks here feel tense and closed off. The whole vibe of this town is off, and it feels like folks are hiding something. Or maybe people here just aren't used to strangers. Why don't we just help look for Rosalina? If there's a missing kid in town, that's probably way more important than whatever else we're doing. Just to clarify, I don't think she's missing. She's just out with her friends and ignoring her poor old man. Not that I don't appreciate your concern. I don't even know where we'd look aside from old Maxwell Place. What do teens even like to do these days? You don't have to worry about checking up on her there. I'm going there myself once I've finished shelving. Just let me know if you run into her while you're out. There's an awful lot of mine-related stuff in my notes. Maybe that should be our next stop. We can poke around, find out if anyone's seen anything weird. Just to clarify, you're suggesting we go to question some of the miners, right? We are not poking around unprepared in the actual mines, right? Right? Yeah, totally, 100%. I wouldn't even have a good reason to go down there. Good, let's keep it that way. You know how I feel about mines. I promise, Neeks, we're just going to question some of the miners. And if that questioning gives us a good reason to poke around, say a cool abandoned coal mine, then we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Stella is becoming my favorite character ever. You can cross that bridge when you come to it. I'm not going underground. I will say, like, the writing for both Kanika and Stella is really great, and I love it. You can already tell, like, the hard-set personalities that they have written into their characters. I just love it. I love when you can have that sort of writing in a video game. Where you can be like, okay, this is the character's personality. I know how they're going to react to this. I'm just messing with you. We'll stick to the surface. And hey, maybe we'll luck out and run to Rosalina while we're looking around. Okay, good, and hopefully we can find out what happened to Wayne while we're at it. Street smart, I get it, it doesn't really matter what I say here, we're going to go along with your plan. It just makes the most sense to start there. We can make it quick, just question a few miners and be done with it. The fate of the town might rest on our shoulders after all. The only problem is Tabitha. She's not exactly going to be thrilled to see us snooping around the mines. We can be sneaky. I'll make sure to be a good lookout. She'll never even know we were there. Look at us, going out on a caper together. I missed this. I missed it too. Though there is something missing. Reese. I really miss that dude. I can't believe how long it's been. Have you seen him lately? Nope. I've tried to plan stuff, but he's been too sick. I didn't realize it was getting so bad. That poor guy. You know, we could pop over and surprise him. Hell yeah, let's do it. See ya, Oscar. We'll let you know if we run into Rosalina. Thanks, guys. I'll keep you all posted.